So I wanted to build this cargo organizer because every time we would go camping or riding, I would need tools and they would be stuffed in bags and you could never find what you were needing. So what I ended up doing is building this. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to build a tool organizer for the back of my 2008 Jeep JK. I'm building this as a overlanding build. I've got a inflatable mattress that will go in the back of the Jeep for whenever we're camping. We'll fold the seats down and that will lay on top of the platform for the organizer I'm building. So the plan is to make this platform as even as possible, that way the bed lays flat. And what I found is a 2x4 on edge and a 1/2 inch top is about perfect for having it level. And then you're going to have storage underneath that'll flip up. You can store stuff on top of it whenever you're not using it for the platform, and that ought to be sturdy enough to hold up. Part of the reason I'm wanting to do this, I keep getting water that keeps running down this part of my Jeep. I'm not sure where it's coming from. So I think if I build the platform and put little risers underneath, it'll let the water go out of the drain plugs and it'll stop soaking up in the carpet, and it's not fixing the water problem, but it's not letting it sit and rot. So the first step you're going to want to do is get you a angle gauge and put it up against your seat and on the floor, and that'll give you the angle that your sideboards here need cut, which on mine is 36 degrees. So we will go ahead and get the boards and we will measure back to this seam sealer line, and there'll be a board that goes across here, and then you'll have the other board here. That way it'll square it up. So after you get your board measured and cut, it'll be a 90-degree on this end and a 36-degree cut on this end. What you'll want to do, you want to clearance for this bolt. And the simplest way you can do this is put your board up against your bracket and take your pencil and just trace along this edge, and you will end up with a mark like this. Go ahead and cut that out, and then you can, once you cut this out, you can slide it up over it, and then you can figure out exactly where your bolt is going to be here, trace it out, and then you cut it out and it'll clearance. Okay, after your first initial cut, you should be left with a cut like this. And then if you look close, right here, this is where you will notch out to clear the bolt. Alright, so once you get your second notch, it should look something like this. Yours will probably look way better than mine because, to be honest, I'm not the greatest at anything. I'm just a guy that likes to do his own work on his own vehicles and save money doing it. Anybody that's priced the compartment storage for the back of a JK know they're about $700. Well, all together and everything that I'm showing you, I have $77. So right at 10% of what a pre-built cost. And once you get your first one cut out, you can use this same board as a template and it will work perfect on the other side. Okay, now that you have your first two boards cut and laid in, you want to measure from one side to the other, and keep in mind that right here where this bracket is, you may have to clearance so you can put the board all the way across, as well as clearance for your center seat bracket bolt. So whenever you notch your board, it should look something like this. You will have a small notch here, a big notch in the middle, and a small notch at the bottom. So whenever you put it in there, it will fit like this. So your length for your front board will be the exact same length for your back board. So once you cut your backboard, you should have a base for your compartment storage. Take this out, use a square, go ahead and screw everything together, and then you can put it in and start building your dividers, however you want to set it up. I'm going to put one more board across here, and then I'm going to put a divider in the middle to create 3 storage areas. I will be retaining the cubby hole that's already in there, that's inset, for tool storage and straps and whatever else may fit in there. And I want to note, before you take these boards out to screw them together on the ground, make sure to put a mark, an alignment mark, on each side. That way whenever you take it out, you can line up the marks and square it up and then screw it together. Because this front board is not going to be all the way to the end of your sideboards. So now we've got it all screwed together. This is going to be our base for our storage. And I'm going to go ahead and put another board in here. And I will be back. Alright, so now we're going to build the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from side to side, from the back seat back to this notch here is flat. So the only notch or rounding you will have to do is right here at the back corner. I feel that this is the reason more people don't do this, is because of the complexity of the roundness here. But don't let it scare you. Make you a cardboard template, make sure it fits the curvature right, and then just transfer it to your top. Now for the complex curve right here on your side, you go to Harbor Freight, get a contour gauge like this. I believe they're around 10 bucks. And what you can do is hold it up against the back and then push the little fingers in till it touches the carpet. And there's your profile for the piece you need to cut out. I'm going to take a router and round over all the corners because I'm going to have an air mattress sitting on top of this. And if you're going to do this, whatever type of material you're using for this, I would test your router to make sure you're getting the proper look and feel that you're wanting. So after you get your top cut out, go ahead and place it in, give it a test fit, do any adjustments you may need. Now is the time that we're going to put the hinges on the front side. That way it will lift up for you. So before you take it out of your Jeep to go ahead and mount your hinges, get everything lined up the way you want it and make a mark on the front and back that you can line up, because there is a gap here and here that this lid is going to overhang. But if you make a mark on front and back, you can line it up once you take it out of the vehicle to mount the hinges. So the reason you want to line up your marks is you've got a ledge, and if you don't mark the front and the back, it will be real easy to get this off center, and then you're going to struggle with it. So the type of hinge that I'm using is a continuous hinge. It is 30 inches long, and what I will do is center it on the board and go ahead and screw it, and then I will screw it to the top. Okay, the most aggravating part of the build is attaching the top to the base. So what I found out is if you take a piece of the same thickness material and put it under your base, you can line up your lines that you made earlier, line them up, ease it down. You'll see the line through the screw hole. Put one screw in it, and then you can make sure everything else is lined up and start putting the screws along the top. Go. Now, once you get a couple screws in it, you will probably need an assistant to do this. Go ahead and shut it. Make sure your lines down here still match up. That way you know you're still straight on the front, and you go ahead and check your lines you put on the back. Yeah. So what I've done here, after I built the initial base and the lid, I went through with EVA foam, which is a dense rubbery type foam, and I went through and cut out for each individual tool, which that will keep your tools from sliding around, falling out of their holders, getting disorganized. And something I may do later on is this area here where it's got the deep inset cubby hole. I may build a lid here. That way I can store tools on top of it and store tools underneath it and maximize the storage capacity of this whole system. So I went through, I found these latches on Amazon. They were probably 12 bucks for 4 of them, and I put those on each side, and then I put foam in between the 2 board layers to keep it from rattling. And then I went through and sprayed it with Raptor liner, which gives it a nice texture coating. So now I want to go over the exact cost of everything. That way you've got an idea on where to get it, how much it costs, and give you some possible cheaper alternatives. So I've got it's a 4x8 sheet of 1/2 inch, and this is a primed veneer. It has got a veneer coating on one side and it's primed on the back, so the paint that you use does not soak into the wood. It is sanded, so it's very slick. You will get an overall better finish out of everything by using this, but you can use 1/2 inch just regular plywood if you want. The paint that I used for everything is Rust-Oleum American Accents. It's a primer plus paint. This covers very well. It's about $6 a can. The wood veneer is $46 for a 4x8 sheet, and you only need about half of it. I used 3-inch interior zinc coated screws. They were about $9 a box. I used 3 2x4/8 at my local lumber store. All 3 of them came up to about $12. I got a continuous hinge, 30 inches long. It comes with all the hardware to install it. It was $10. The paint was $5.98, like I stated earlier. The EVA foam to use for the cutouts for all the tools, for a 24x60 roll of it, 1/2 inch thick, it was $26 at Hobby Lobby. And then the Raptor liner that I put on top, I had some left over from a truck bed that I had done, but AutoZone sells the same stuff for $22 a can. You would need about 2 cans of it. So you can make this as fancy or as basic as you want. I decided to go a little fancier, but you can create whatever your budget allows with just a little bit of money. If you want to see more build content like this and other stuff that I'm going to be building on my overlanding Jeep, consider subscribing, like this video, hit that bell notification, and until next time, we'll see you out there.